Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, Bitcoin's price hit 18,000 US dollars once again, an increase of 5% over the past 24 hours. Overall, the weekly price has increased by 0.74%, ending the week at a slightly better place than it started. There's a little chart right there. Around 18,000 US dollars, Bitcoin is in a less tempestuous place than it was earlier in the week. On Thursday, the 26th of November, Bitcoin fell by $3,000 in a single day. I usually assume a lot of this stuff is based on manipulation as people are trying to get in at a lower price, which we're also going to get into in a couple of seconds. So for those of you not looking at the screen, this one says Bitcoin and altcoins regain strength and bullish momentum. Bitcoin is actually far above 18,000 at this point. I think it's $18,622.14 or something random like that. Altcoins have, of course, responded the exact same way as Bitcoin did. They're all trying to move up. People think, no one knows, but everyone thinks that this may be the week that we are trying to actually hit 20,000. When you look around, when you even look at the news that we had last week, a lot of people said that we were in the market, for a price correction as Bitcoin was getting too hot too quick. It fell back down. The bottom, or the level that it would not go any further down, was apparently 17,000. We hit 16,982. It swiftly went back up above 17,000. I think this is going to be a very choppy week, if you will, price-wise, because we are definitely trying to, just logically trying to get past 20,000. But of course, there are people who are going to try and keep it lower, who are trying to get in at another price, which is something that I knew was going to happen, because all the people who did not get into cryptocurrencies before are now trying to get into it, whether that be your friends, your family members, or other institutional investors. I'm pretty sure they're all scuttling around. Is scuttling a word? Trying to figure out if they can get in to the Bitcoin market without having to pay $35,000 for it. There's a huge amount of news from major players, whether it is Paul Tudor Jones or Raoul Pal, who are talking about exactly what's taking place right now, what's going on with Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, and our next steps. It says, based on the fractal, Bitcoin is in an early phase of a prolonged rally that could allow Bitcoin to experience exponential growth in the long term. There's a little gold price chart and also Bitcoin's chart. It said there are two main reasons why Bitcoin could follow the macro trend gold saw from the 1970s. First, Bitcoin has a fixed supply that cannot expand, which makes it an attractive hedge against inflation. Second, Bitcoin has the same qualities of a safe haven asset that gold has. In August 2020, the Winklevoss twins, billionaire Bitcoin investors behind the major U.S. cryptocurrency exchange Gemini, laid out a bull case for why Bitcoin's price could rally to $500,000. In the thesis, they identified the qualities of Bitcoin that make it a viable safe haven asset. The Winklevoss specifically emphasized that Bitcoin is not subject to any potential supply shocks, unlike gold. It basically comes down to the fact that Bitcoin is finite. The supply is very small. We know exactly how much is going to come out of the machine. You can't simply find new Bitcoin by digging into the ground and say, hey, got more Bitcoin. 21 million is not the actual thing anymore. But they're all saying, so at the beginning of the year, more so, the news that we kept on getting was that Bitcoin's price was looking like it was going to hit around $40,000, $50,000 this year, or rather next year, whatever the time frame is, whenever the bull goes completely insane. And then we started hearing stuff about like $88,000 Bitcoin. And then we got to 100K Bitcoin. And now the news, the craziest one that we've had thus far has been the Plan B / Citibank $288,000 to $300,000 per Bitcoin. But I'm seeing a lot of whispers about a $500,000 Bitcoin. And I'm not really sure if that's during this cycle in particular, but it keeps popping up over and over. I'm really shrugging because at this point, the sky is basically the limit. We keep having news every single day about institutional investors or family offices or banks or rich people getting into the market and buying up massive, insane amounts. And we will see the true extent of this when we get confirmation that there's no more cryptocurrency Bitcoin on actual cryptocurrency exchanges, because they're buying up as much of it as they possibly can. There's not a lot left. I know I keep reiterating it, but I just really want to bring that point home. It says Bitcoin could be mirroring the extremely bullish gold fractal from the 1970s. A lot of gold fractal Bitcoin news about where Bitcoin's going to be going next and the future of it and how it's going to try and mimic gold and then eventually take over gold's position as a safe haven and store of value. It is what it is. This one says, oh yeah, also in the news, it says today the US dollar hit 91.69 against a basket of foreign currencies, its lowest level since April 2018. A CNBC report noted that optimism in a help for 19, coupled with bets on more economic stimulus in the U.S., pressured the greenback lower. The outperformance across the U.S. stock market, with the S&P 500 posting its best month since April 2020, further pointed that portfolios would keep on holding riskier assets through their month-end rebalancing. This could also create a short-term downside pressure on the U.S. dollar. I think we spoke about that a bit last week, like a little tiny bit. It wasn't the Citibank news. Citibank talking about that Bitcoin is going to 300,000 and that the US dollar would drop by 20% in value. But the news basically is right now surrounding the US dollar that the value keeps dropping. It's like a very small drop every day, but it's still a noticeable drop over the course of a year, that people are now getting worried that the greenback might not be as strong next year. And this at the same exact time where we're talking about historic new prices for Bitcoin, the Chinese central bank digital currency being launched, and also Libra being launched, and which are meant to be direct competitors to the actual US dollar. I'm not really sure what the euro index has been. I've heard from a couple of people that the euro is looking relatively strong compared to the dollar, which is also another issue for the US dollar. You have all these things, people talking about that gold is going to be aiming for 4,000 or 5,000. So the optimism around every other asset that could be potentially seen as a rival or something negative against the US dollar seems to be kind of picking up steam. Also the idea that the help against 19, I had to choose my word. I was like, I can't say the one that's on the screen, may also be a problem for the US dollar, and also the fact that it appears as if we are going to have more stimulus inside of the United States, because the $1,200 check, just wasn't enough. There are people whose rent is like $1,200, so they were kind of given like a good luck, hope you survive kind of thing. So it's been a year. This has been a year that's just completely all over the place. What does this one say? Right. It says, respected financial historian calls for Bitcoin integration into the U.S. financial system. In a lengthy article on the rise of Bitcoin and its role in the financial future, a well-respected former Harvard professor has suggested that the Biden administration would see benefit from integrating the digital currency into the U.S. financial system. Financial historian and Milbank Family Senior Fellow at the Hoover Institute at Stanford University, Niall Ferguson, has penned a lengthy piece on Bitcoin, which is getting noticed by the crypto community. In it, the former Harvard and Oxford University professor commented on how the traditional naysayers and debunkers have softened their collective stance this year as the asset outperforms most other traditional investments. Yeah, everyone who says anything negative has completely stopped. I don't know if you've noticed that. I think the only one who said it was, Munger, sometime during this year. I don't even really remember, almost said Charlie Buffett. Warren Buffett saying anything negative either. I do not think that the U.S. anytime soon is going to be integrating Bitcoin into their financial system. If it happens, listen, I'll say sorry and we'll have a whole discussion about it. The U.S. dollar is meant to rule the entire world, and I do not think that the U.S. is ready to give it up in any way, shape, or form. This is why we saw such a huge pushback against Libra. There would have been no pushback at all if there hadn't been an issue with them trying to supplant the US dollar. I do think at some point the US dollar is, I think the US will be forced into using Bitcoin, and they're going to start doing it inch by inch. They won't give the full mile at the very beginning, but they will slowly hint that they're going towards it. And that'll simply be because that their arm is pulled behind their back and they're kind of forced to do so. You have the world's leading currency at the moment that no one is really bullish on, but they want to protect its status and placement where it is. This is, of course, making the rounds right now. Someone talking about that Bitcoin should be integrated into the U.S. financial system. It is in a way, as far as banks wanting to hold it, going to start offering it, which I assume we're going to start hearing about next year, because we heard this year that the OCC was allowing, or basically gave like a blanket allowance to say that every single bank within the U.S. can hold Bitcoin. But I think the actual integration or usage of Bitcoin as a means of payment or a means of securing value, this may already be happening within the United States, but I'm pretty sure we won't hear any concrete news about this until Bitcoin is well over $500,000 to like $1 million per coin. Anyway, so that's part of that news. It's just a lot going on. When you talk about the actual end of the world reserves currency and us moving on to something else, it's very spotty. It's very tricky, because imagine you ruled the world and somebody from someplace you had never heard from was like, hey, I'm going to take over the world in 7 years. And you're like, sure. Like, there's going to be some friction with all of that. You get my hint. If you've been alive for the last 25, 30 years and you've seen how the world is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, tomorrow, Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to launch. It says Ethereum 2.0 deposit contract secures enough funds to launch. It's funny because this is actually on the Nasdaq's website. So, hint, hint. The other point being that I did not see any news this morning about it happening. The date that we received before was the 1st of December, which I believe is tomorrow. I don't think we have 31 days in this month. It's really a shame. I sit with my friends sometime and I'm like, what's today's date? And they'll tell me, and I'm like, ooh, tomorrow's September. And they're like, no, we have a couple more days left. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So anyway, the point is, it's either happening tomorrow or on Wednesday. And I assume we're going to have a whole slew of news about it. I logically expect that the price should rise, but I have a feeling that we're going to experience that sell the news kind of thing, which is also really funny because I have some news about that as well, which is I was tickled by it because it just makes a lot of sense. And for one of the most controversial news stories of the day, Coinbase's camp has been tumultuous over the past few weeks, from the removal of margin trading from its pro platform to the CEO's tweet about a planned regulation on crypto wallets and like 3 other things that aren't even mentioned in this article. Coinbase has been doing a lot and going through a lot the last couple of weeks. Moreover, a new development has given XRP traders talking as they have refused to join into the imminent airdrop for the Flare network. Flare network has stated that Coinbase's participation is highly unlikely. The addresses of all XRP users that would be benefiting from the airdrop would need to be made on the 12th of December. By implication, it would be too late for the token supporters to be enabled on their platform. Thus, Coinbase users will end up missing out on the free XRP airdrop from Flare Network Spark token. Then it talks about how long XRP has been on the Coinbase. I really have to sneeze and I'm trying to hold it in. The news is that Coinbase apparently seems to be unwilling to participate in the airdrop. Wow. Wait for it. I have to sneeze. Go away. Okay. The point is, this is Coinbase's prerogative. If they decide to do this or not. I think people get a little upset with, first of all, Coinbase is always messing up. So, I mean, it's fine to be a little upset all the time at Coinbase. But I think anything that has to do with Coinbase's and XRP's history, people get a little rattled and annoyed. There have been many other airdrops from many other coins over the last couple of years that Coinbase has also not participated in either. It may simply be that maybe they don't want the Spark token on their platform. Maybe they don't see a long-term future for it. A lot of people have been screaming at me in the comment section because I said that Spark and Flare probably is not going to catch on. And I can feel the comments right now actually happening. I can feel the furious tapping of the keyboard. The point is, XRP is on their platform. That's what everybody wanted. So the fact that they're not offering the Spark token on their platform because maybe they don't want to simply have those tokens on their platform, for all we know, They could be taking an actual snapshot and they could be crediting it later on down the road. They may be getting the actual Spark tokens and simply saying, well, if Spark actually catches on and people are actually using it and the token actually has a purpose in 3.5 months, because imagine them adding, first of all, I mentioned this before, nearly every single airdropped token that we saw many years ago, especially the 15, 18, 25 that came out on EOS, no one's using them. These coins are garbage and they've disappeared and have turned into dust. Imagine if every single cryptocurrency exchange had offered an airdrop for those 25 coins and had them on their platform. You'd all be saying, why do they have those crappy coins on their platform? Because you wanted those coins on their platform so that you could receive $15 worth of free coins. And that's kind of how it is. Anyway, so as it stands right now, Coinbase has said nothing about the airdrop. If that's that much of a problem, just transfer your coin onto another platform. First of all, if you have a problem with Coinbase and you are a true XRP believer, you probably don't have your coins on Coinbase in the first place after everything that's been going on the last couple of years with them. So that's that news. The other XRP news is that according to Google Trends, search interest in the remittance coin XRP on a global level has increased to levels not seen since December 2017. The chart below, courtesy of Google, further demonstrates this fact. And it falls back down and goes back up once again. Apparently, they believe that the trend has to do with the actual snapshot and that people are gathering up as much XRP as they possibly can to be able to benefit from the token airdrop. Seems logical. Makes a lot of sense. I will repeat one more time. Be wary of, you know what? I'm going to let you decide. When this airdrop has happened, we're going to talk about it exactly a week later. Even if Spark's price drops, I'm not going to talk about it, just simply because I want everyone to experience this for themselves. I keep giving out a lot of warnings and telling people what's happened in the past. A lot of people have a problem with that. People think I'm talking about this. I saw someone in the comment section the other day talking about how funny it is that I'm talking about XRP when I've never spoken about it before. I was the first crypto YouTuber to talk about XRP. No one even wanted to touch XRP. I was the first one to talk about Ethereum when people called Ethereum a scam. Somebody was also like, well, I guess you have a bag of Ether. And I'm like, have you not watched my 1,800 other videos? The entire point is XRP will do just fine. Ethereum's going to do just fine. All these coins will be just fine. Stop worrying about the little tiny things that happen in between. Like, why is your blood pressure raising because Coinbase is not going to be snapshotting or Spark tokening or whatever the actual case might be? Like, there are many other things in the world for you to worry about. Keep your head down, make sure to focus on your own money, and stop caring about what everyone else is doing or saying. And next up, the number of addresses holding at least one Bitcoin, one whole Bitcoin, dropped by nearly 1,000 addresses yesterday as whales dumped their assets in the wake of a sell-off earlier this week. So here's where this article and many other articles get that wrong. You are not a whale if you have one whole Bitcoin, and I'll explain why in a second. You should probably know why. It says it's most likely a reflection of Bitcoins dropping from 18,700 to 17,100 on the 25th of November. The crash that was prompted by OKEX or yada, yada, yada. It could have been Coinbase. It could have been this. A whole bunch of things. The news is that people holding an entire Bitcoin has dropped. Listen. Whales drop their coins or place sell orders on websites so that you sell your coins so that they can buy your coins on another website. The amount of whole coiners, that means that a lot of people who had an entire Bitcoin sold off because they were afraid. I can't put it into proper English. I just can't construct the entire sentence. They are forcing you to sell off your coins to make they're making sure to see how weak you are. They're shaking the tree and the leaves are falling off, and the leaves are the coins that you held on to. The price has recovered. We are 4.5 days after the price dropped, and people who sold their coins will never be able to buy in at that price again. This has happened for a very long time, and I keep saying this over and over. That means that means there were tons of people who had an entire Bitcoin who got so scared that the price dropping. And it's also tons of people, like, bless your hearts, there's so many people who keep trying to day trade. If you don't know how to day trade, stop it. Stop trying to time the market. Stop trying to time when it's going to go up or just go down. The point is to accumulate. Bitcoin's purpose is to replace the current world financial system so that we have a fair, equal economic space where our money isn't inflated to heaven and back and all these other things. Be happy with the Bitcoin that you have. And if you choose to do so, if it is your thing that you're trying to do, continue to accumulate an entire Bitcoin and then stop. If you want to day trade with another coin, stop selling off your Bitcoin. I don't know how to really... No, that was it. That was everything I pretty much had to say. I saw this news and I was like, that is a gosh darn shame. Anyway, so hope lesson learned for many people. Stop selling off your Bitcoin. It's clear where Bitcoin is going. And without further ado, let's move on now. In the most popular news of the day, even more than that XRP thing, according to a filing with the US SEC, New York-based leading asset manager and advisory firm, the Guggenheim Partners, have become the latest institution to enter Bitcoin as the fund seeks a 10% investment in Grayscale. The Wall Street giant has more than $275 billion in assets under management. The firm is currently engaged in asset management, investment banking, insurance services, capital markets. Founded in 1999, the investment company has more than 2,400 employees. Absolutely wonderful. Guggenheim filed with the SEC on Friday and asked for indirect investment in Bitcoin through a 10% exposure of the company's Macro Opportunities Fund in Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Guggenheim Macro Opportunities Fund invests mainly in fixed income securities and currently has more than $5.2 billion in assets under management. The news today is that the Guggenheim Fund is trying to put $500 million into Bitcoin through Grayscale. Do I have to elaborate? Probably not, because you should probably get it at this point. Everyone who has money is getting into Bitcoin. They're either already in Bitcoin, preparing to enter the market, or are talking with their advisors on how they can get into Bitcoin in the smartest way. We get news consistently that these major players are getting into the cryptocurrency market, and the main people who are paying attention are institutional investors who go, hey, they have a lot of money. They're touching Bitcoin. I should also get into the space. Let's put $500 million into Bitcoin. And we are no longer dealing with, and I mentioned this before, we're not dealing with people who are deciding to get into the cryptocurrency space and they buy a tenth of a Bitcoin, even an entire Bitcoin. We're talking about like 25,000 Bitcoin at one time. Part of the problem is, sorry for screaming, there's not that much actual Bitcoin floating around anymore. So as these people put $500 million into Bitcoin and they realize, hey, Bitcoin's price has risen by 18% over the course of this amount of time, let's dump more money into it, more Bitcoin actually leaves the market. This is an article right here from 2018 because I think people forget very easily. It says, first Soros, now the Rockefellers move into cryptocurrency. I remember I went crazy when we had this news and people barely batted an eye. People, for some reason, either don't see the value in news like this or simply, I don't know what the mind actually does. The news being that the Guggenheim Fund, therefore I guess the Guggenheims, are looking to get into Bitcoin through Grayscale. So I assume within the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear that the Guggenheim has entered the market and Grayscale then owns 625,000 Bitcoin or something like that. Anyway, yeah, that's the major news of the day. I don't even have to dig that deep into it because you can pretty much read what it says. The market is gearing up for something absolutely massive. I would recommend, if you have not already done so yourself, to please continue to do your own research and figure out exactly why Bitcoin is probably very likely has a chance to be the next world reserve currency. I don't know if people are just being trolls. I'm not sure if it's just people who have nothing better to do with their day. I see a lot of people who keep mentioning and commenting that it's going to be XRP, that it's going to be Litecoin Gold, or that it's going to be this other coin. If you haven't figured it out by this point, I'm not really sure. Also, watch out in the comment section as well. There are so many different accounts mimicking me. I found 5 different ones yesterday. They all look slightly different. If you look at them in the screen in the comment section, try to avoid them. Just don't respond back to them. They're all telling people... It's really weird comments as well. It's like, hey friend, I like comment. Please contact me Telegram. And it's like, I hope people understand that that's not me, because that's not my speech pattern. I write on the internet like I talk here. So there's a lot of like LOLs and misspellings and other stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that's all that news. I do honestly hope that you have all realized or have come to the conclusion that maybe you should have some Bitcoin in your portfolio. If you haven't gotten that far at this point, please don't be one of the people who helps us push to 300,000 because you are trying to desperately get into the market to buy 800 Satoshis. So yeah, because all the news that we've been getting, especially about what's going to happen to the prices next year, and even more so, the precursors of the mega rich families and institutions in the last 6 weeks who've gotten into our market. I just hope you're all along for the ride and not at the very end of the train trying to keep up. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbite University, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohammed Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Man, Jellavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jimmy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Corner Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tiger Ramacho, Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. To everyone who bought a ledger, thank you all very, very much for that. And I hope you actually enjoy your ledger as well. I do enjoy mine. What was the other part? And thank you to everyone who is just here supporting in their own possible way. There was something else I had to say. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something about I had it midway through in my mind for the Patreon names, and then I kind of slipped and lost it. I don't remember. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at 18,421 US dollars. It surged over the last couple of hours in the night. Let's see exactly where we end up going. Ethereum is at 576. Chainlink is up by 3%. Polkadot is up by 3%. Anything else kind of really crazy? Altcoins aren't really... I mean, they all had this surge at the exact same time that Bitcoin did. But maybe they're just cooling off. Who knows? I think it's going to be a very fascinating, interesting week. I think that we most certainly can hit $20,000. We were like, what was it? 19,600 a couple days ago. Of course, it's possible. It's just about actually doing it. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I'm off to the second channel. Have a lot of work to do this week. Thank you all once again for watching and listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.